12th, I believe, 2022. And I'm going to title this short video, A Midwife's Rant. A random rant, right? That's what we're going to call it. I just have to speak to the growing trend of home birth that I'm seeing, especially specifically in Metro Atlanta, but certainly throughout the United States, and I wouldn't even doubt around the world. There's this growing trend of families seeking out home birth. And so my rant today is centering, you cannot pay for a home birth. You cannot pay for it. And I want people to really understand that and own it. And what do you mean by that, BirthMama Sekesa? What do you mean you cannot pay for a home birth? What I mean by that is simply, you pay for a home birth experience. However, you cannot pay for your baby to be born at home. You cannot pay for a natural birth. Let me be more clear. I think this message really is to a lot of my Instagrammers, my TikTokers, my people that look at some videos and feel like, ooh, that looks like an amazing experience. I want to have that experience. It's not like trying to do a gender reveal where you can duplicate that experience. Home birth isn't that. Or natural birth, even. It doesn't have to be home birth. It can be natural birth in the hospital. It can be when I say natural, I'm speaking to vaginal, unmedicated delivery. Okay? And you can't pay for that. You have to work for it. And you have to do the work before Labor Day. And it really does, it bothers me. I have to say, it bothers me to see, especially some of my families that I've worked with, and even as I hear some of the other doulas that I work with, we have a very similar complaint when it comes to some families that seek out this natural vaginal birth experience, or they're trying to have this beautiful water birth experience. The challenge when you see Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, you got to remember, it's an instant, it's a moment. It's usually the highlighted moment that's being captivated or shared, or it's a time-lapse video that you're seeing. You don't get to see or witness this mother's full labor unless they do it on YouTube. And even those videos I've seen have also been time-lapse. A lot of times, I'll promise you, from a person that has had 2 home birth experiences of my own, 3 unmedicated births, and 4 vaginal deliveries. Your tears, a lot of times when you see these videos and you see the mom crying, the dad crying, all the family members excited and crying, I can't speak for the other family members, but certainly the mother, in many cases, she's just happy it's over. She's happy to see her baby and receive her baby, but ultimately, she is so excited and relieved that it's over. And so many of them would say that. I've had many mothers would say, oh my God, it's over. Oh, I did it. Oh, I made it. Yes, it's over. They haven't even looked at the baby yet. They just so grateful that they made it through the labor process, y'all, because this is a process. It is a marathon, and we use this analogy very intentionally. And I believe it's become like anything else. You hear it all the time. It loses its value. However, if you are selecting to have a natural, unmedicated birth, you have to own that narrative. You have to own that saying that birth is like a marathon. Even if you have to go so far as to study, well, what does a marathon racer do? That's you. That's you, mama. You gotta exercise. You gotta eat right. If you want to have a vaginal, unmedicated delivery, I will even go so far as to say today in 2020, natural birth is a privilege. It is not the norm. Natural, unmedicated vaginal delivery is a privilege. Home birth is a luxury, because for most of these states, home birth is not even covered by insurance. It's certainly not here in Georgia. And so have to put it this way because I want people to understand the gravity of the work at hand. You are paying for a service, not a home birth. You're paying for a service, not necessarily to birth your baby at home. Right? In order to birth your baby at home, you have to do the work. So your midwife, your doula, your team, these are your accountability partners. We are here to help you navigate this pregnancy, to help you keep it in normal, low risk, no risk dynamics, and to optimize your potential of having a vaginal delivery. Unfortunately, we as human beings, specifically us here in America, our lifestyles are not conducive for a natural birth. Most of us sit on our butts all day at work. We sit in our butts in the cars, like I'm sitting right now, right? We're sitting on our butts far too much. So what does that do? It distorts your pelvis. It weakens a lot of your perineum muscles because you're not up walking, squatting, and moving around. We go to the grocery store. Some of us will sit in those carts and roll around. Hell, some of us will just do Instacarts and get our groceries delivered to the house out of convenience. So we're not even walking around the grocery stores anymore. And walking is your absolute best friend if you want to have a vaginal, unmedicated birth. You have to exercise. You have to stretch. You have to work for it. I would tell you, especially if you are a first-time vaginal delivery. You're a first-time vaginal delivery, meaning you may have had a C-section before, and now you're trying to have a VBAC, or this is your first-time birth. You have to stretch out those muscles, those perineum muscles. You have to rotate your body from sitting on the floor, sitting on your birth wall, and sitting on a chair or the couch. You have to get up and move. If you want to crawl around on the floor, you want to do your squats, you want to do your stretches, prenatal yoga is your friend. I can't stress these things enough because it really hurts, right? Everybody involved, including us as your birth workers, when we've been on this journey with you and we get to Labor Day and you tap out because of maternal exhaustion, or you can't achieve it because your blood pressure is too high. You can't achieve it because you've gained far too much weight in this pregnancy, and now this baby is sitting outside of your pelvis. You know, and hopefully you have a competent or a intentional birth worker that is knowledgeable about helping to guide you nutritionally through your pregnancy, to help you avoid hypertension or preeclampsia, to help you avoid gestational diabetes. And then the ownership is on you, mama. If you have somebody that is trying their best to help navigate you through your pregnancy to reach this vaginal delivery, then it is up to you to follow those instructions. If someone says, hey mama, you gained 3 pounds in 1 week, that's too much. You should not gain more than 1 pound in 1 week in your pregnancy. And some of us don't need to gain that. If you start out this pregnancy over your BMI, you do not need to gain 40 pounds in your pregnancy. If you are 5'2" and you weigh 180 pounds outside of pregnancy, guess what, boo? You do not need to gain no weight in this pregnancy, and it is doable. You damn sure don't need to hit 200 pounds. So a lot of times we blame the healthcare system, we blame obstetricians, we blame insurance companies. We are consistently pointing the finger. Yes, they are accountable as well for our maternal crisis. However, mama, you have to do your due diligence. You have to put in the work too. It is a team effort, but ultimately this is your body, this is your experience, and you have to be accountable. You have to own it. Gotta get off. Gotta get off the interstate. I almost missed my exit. But yeah, you have to own it. You have to own the outcome that you want to have for yourself. You gotta do the work. You gotta work for it. You know, and just eating healthy alone is not going to get it. Because I've certainly had those moms as well. Well, I have a good diet. I'm a vegan. I eat predominantly plant-based. I eat clean. I take my herbs. I drink my sea moss. I do my spirulina. All those are great. Yes, please continue to do that. But guess what? Guess what? At the same time, mama, you got to get up. You got to work your hips. You got to walk. You got to build up your stamina. You have to work for it. And that is my rant for today. My rant. You cannot buy a home birth. You invest in a home birth experience, but you have to do the work. And that's all I got. Blessings.